Arsenal's former goalkeeper Manuel Almunia forced to retire after heart problem detected in Cagliari Medical. Former Arsenal goalkeeper, who's 37 years old, forced to call time on the 20-year career after hypertrophic cardiomyopathy detected in Cagliari Medical. It's easy for me to say. Yeah, it was actually detected during a medical examination for Serie A club Cagliari. He spent 8 years with Arsenal, became the club's number one after German stopper Jens Lehmann, Mad Jens, left in 2008. And he was seeking employment in Italy after ending a 2-year spell with Watford in the summer. Now, you know what? Just want to focus on that, actually. Even though it's a story from last week, want to focus on it because it's quite an important issue. Because apparently a heart issue was why Loic Remy failed. It was the official reason given as to why Loic Remy failed the medical at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But Chelsea took it off. And QPR were happy with it. So
you know what I think that comes down to, though, honestly, the issue of Remy, that is.
Yeah.
I think that comes down to workload. Right? Yeah. Whereas legitimately at Liverpool he needed to be the 1B to Daniel Sturridge's 1A.
Yeah.
So he's gonna play a lot of games. Yeah. And Liverpool's style of play is very, very intense, high pressure, high pace. 1,000 miles an hour all the time. If he has a heart condition, is he able to do that on a consistent basis, especially to the level that Liverpool, with their system that they require? I think the honest answer to that is no, and that would explain why Liverpool would pass. Very close to Sterling there. A great build-up play, by the way.
Sterling actually air-shotted.
Rooney was fouled in the build-up to that, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Air-shot. Bayrami was right behind him.
But going back to my point, I think that it's to do with his workload. Whereas at Chelsea, I know he's come out and he said, I'm not going to be on the bench, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, he will be, come on.
Yes, he is. He's legitimately the third choice. It's Costa, Drogba, then him. And the thing is, he shouldn't, with the heart condition, if that is actually true, then he needs to be managed. And the way to manage him is to give him the last 10, 15 minutes of games after,
nice
Diego...
impacts.
After Diego Costa's literally battered most teams into submission anyway. And then, of course, there's the odd cup game here or there. Yeah. Which is absolutely fine. I don't really
I thought Welbeck had been Steinerized.
Sorry.
Steinerline. No, the Frankensteiner. Steinerized. But anyway, OWRs are plenty there. But
yeah, so I think, Chelsea are able to manage him better because, as I say, the main two are Costa and Drogba. Yeah. So,
but coming back to the Almunia issue, though, it's a case of it's interesting that it's only really kind of come up when he's 37, rather than 17 or 27.
It could have been late onset.
Yeah,
could have been late onset. The other thing is,
if it is late, and if it is one of them late onset ones, it's a case of Almunia's smart to retire as soon as he's found out about it, because with all due respect and reverence, you wouldn't want to have another situation similar to what happened to Fabrice Muamba a couple of years ago.
Of course.
You never wish that upon anyone. There's the Mark Vivian Foe situation that could happen. Could happen as well. So it's one of them ones. If you can manage it and be careful with it, then that's definitely the best thing to do. So I think it's one of them as Almunia's been smart to retire.
Absolutely, but I think the other thing as well, with incidents like what happened to Fabrice Muamba, and of course the unfortunate events regarding Mark Vivian Foe as well, right? I think now football as a sport, football clubs as employers are now paying a lot more attention to those issues.
Yeah, have to.
Because they have to, as you say. And now more and more players are getting screened. More and more players are finding out that, they have these conditions, and more is being done to protect them, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
As you say that though, like football clubs being more aware. Just playing devil's advocate, yeah. with Loic Remy, just going back to that point.
Yeah.
What if he was to drop down and fall down with heart problems at Chelsea? You know, Liverpool's already brought out that he has those heart conditions.
Yeah.
But he's there playing at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He falls down, and they've gone and signed him after knowing the full effects of, you know, the illness that he has.
Right.
So is that due care? Is that due care and diligence? Should they be taking more due care and diligence?
I see the point that you're making, but the other thing that I will say about that is, in terms of his exertions during the game, it's so difficult to monitor live that there would be no way. Like, for example, if he was to come on in the last 15 minutes of the game, really, you know, try to impact the game, like really overextend himself, if you will, and then of course something as unfortunate as that were to happen, who's to blame for that? That's one of the things that would have occurred naturally anyway. If you see my point, he could have been overexerting himself doing anything else, and that could have happened to him. So based on that and that alone, I would have to say no. I don't think it's negligence on their part. Not in that scenario. The only other thing that would solve that problem, as you pose it, would be for Lek to actually retire.
Yeah. No, but would you then say, as a player, if he found out that he has this illness, it's more of his issue if he doesn't want to quit, lesser than the club?
I think it's a joint effort between the player and the club in terms of how he's managed, and that's why I was pointing out that realistically speaking, he's not going to play anywhere near as many games. He's not going to be anywhere near a focal point. So because of that, the club are able to manage his condition. He's able to be effective in short bursts, whether it's one game every 3-4 weeks or 2-3 months, in terms of him starting and playing a full game, or him having substitute appearances that are limited to 25 minutes at most. If that means that he's able to prolong his career, then fine.
It's not even prolonging his career. I think it's one of them was prolonging his life and safeguarding his life, which is the more important
talking about his life.
So, I mean,
right?
your career is one thing, but health is wealth.
No. But talking about his life, as I say, that the best thing for him to do in this scenario that Gman has posed would be for him to, as I say, retire. But pride is a very, very powerful thing, and I think he honestly believes that he can still be an effective footballer. He doesn't believe within himself that this has any significant bearing on his ability as a footballer. And because he doesn't believe it, Chelsea are inclined to believe him. That's why they spent the money. It's not as if Chelsea couldn't have gone elsewhere and bought somebody else to fill that role. It's not as if they couldn't have gone to the youth team, for example, and picked any random youth team player and said, right, we're going to promote you. You're the number 3. You know, make sure that you score when you get your opportunities, and that's it.
There is actually a foundation called Heart for More, and one of our friends on Facebook, Mr. Ravit Anand, at Ravit Anand on Twitter, him and Toby Alabi of who was an ex-player for Millwall, basically have set up a website, and that website, that website is Heart for More. It's the link that we've got is Toby Alabi, Tobi Alabi ALABI .com, tobyalabi.com/heart for the number 4 more. The foundation, the Heart for More Foundation, was founded in February 2014 by Toby Alabi following the ongoing Let's Change the Game campaign that started in November 2013 and is incorporated into the foundation's aims regarding heart conditions in football and society. Their 3 aims are, number 1, to bring necessary changes to the game of football in the form of more regular and in-depth screenings, all while educating players and individuals in the game on cardiac-related issues and how to react to them. The second, to educate the general public on cardiac-related issues, encourage the public to get screened and provide them with a centre to get screened or organise community heart screenings, to empower and inspire young people through Toby Alabi's story, making them understand that one setback is only a setup for a major comeback. So I like that as a line. And number 3, their third aim, various community events incorporating football as a main driving force for change within the community. As we all know, football is the most influential sport in the world, which is. So it's basically, the Heart for More Foundation is run by Toby Alabi and Ravit Anand. Toby Alabi, founder and CEO at Alabs, ALA, at ALABSS_ on Twitter. And it's also ran by Ravit Anand, who's the PR and media manager at Ravit Anand on Twitter. I said Toby Alabi began his football career at Millwall, where he spent 11 years breaking through into the first team. Loan spells at Hampton and Richmond Borough and Ebbsfleet United followed before he left Millwall to join LSK in Sweden. Toby returned to England amid Football League interest to Metropolitan Police FC, where he finished his career. Ravit Anand has a journalism background with PR industry experience. He first met Toby 2 years ago, interviewing him on his time in non-league football whilst on loan with Hampton. The two met following Toby's retirement to discuss making a change in football. PR for Toby to date includes local and national newspapers, radio and online video interviews and TV appearances with Vox Africa, Sky Sports News, ITV and BBC. So, as said, Toby Alabi and Ravit Anand, at Ravit Anand on Twitter, at Alabs, ALABSS_, and that's tobyalabi.com/heart4more is the website. Toby Alabi, TOBIALABI.com/heart4more is the website for the Heart for More Foundation. Now the thing is, the G-Man, you're terrible.
No, it wasn't even his. It was me.
Oh, man. No, man, come on. No. He hate me. But
as Trick Daddy would say, let's go!
Oh my god. Mate, he called a press conference to say he retired from going down. Going down for a kebab buffet. But yeah, anyway. Now, you know what? The fact of the matter is, coming back to the serious issue, Heart for More, that's a fantastic initiative. Go and follow it. And also Ravit Anand does football exclusives as well, which is about non-league football. He gets out, films the games as well. So very interesting stuff. So shout out to him. And the fact of the matter is, it's a very serious issue. You get one heart, you got to take care of it. And there are so many things out at the moment that can affect your heart. And it's a case of you've just got to take so much care of yourself. And Heart for More is, I said, a fantastic initiative.
Oh, yes.
To get to it's one of them ones. It is legitimately changing the game and for the good. So it's very interesting. That hash, let's change the game. It's a fantastic hashtag.
Yeah,
that's where it should be. Speaking of hashtags, at Hash Pitch Talk Live is ours. So let's get that spreaded. But I mean, Tom Wood, you've mentioned something in the Skype chat. Would you like to articulate it for the people?
No, you can read it.
Okay. Thomas said he remembers when an ex-Southend player, James Walker, who now plays for Eastbourne, failed on medical at Southend because of a heart problem, and he signed the following season with Southend, if he remembers rightly. So that's an interesting one.
Well, the other thing to point out about a lot of these heart conditions, right? Unless, of course, they're congenital, which means they're born with them. Some of these may end up resolving themselves. Some of them could be stress or physical exertion related. Maybe some of these players actually need a break from football and physical exertion. So in terms of training, in a lot of cases, it could be down to overtraining over the course of their career or a period of time. So if they have a break, some of these issues could be resolved.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them.
Well, it's pedal to the metal, but all the time in football.
So that's one thing, but I think that more. I think that the more is being done to help players, the better. So as you say, Heart for More, absolutely fantastic. Sport Recife's Immortal Fans initiative that I always talk about, absolutely fantastic. Like I literally cannot say enough about it. So the more things that are being done, as I say, to emphasize health in all of sport, not just football, all of sport. Like for example, football's now looking to bring in a concussion rule similar to what they have in the NFL.
We're gonna get into that in a future of the game segment. As it happens.
just to have things like that in terms of looking at other sports and how other sports cope with things like that, and on a smaller scale but of a similar impact. Let's talk about the water breaks at the World Cup. They were absolutely key.
Oh, definitely.
So, even things like that where you think, it's not really... Big deal. In terms of long-term health for these players who are humans, just like you and me, big deal.
I mean, as I said, later on in the show, we've got a special feature coming up, Future of the Game, and we're going to go into that concussions issue in a bit more detail, because we're going to focus on rules as well. Now, it's one of them ones where Jamie Bailey's actually gone kind of CWO about this, Cynic's World Order about this. Jamie, would you like to drop what you've been saying in the Skype chat about what we've just been talking about in terms of heart conditions and why the clubs are actually bringing more in to kind of increase awareness of it?
Yeah, it's not really a cynic sort of thing. It's just common sense. They're looking to protect their investment, and if they can prevent having to pay out compensation, and Liam, you'll probably know this from the fact of the Owen Hart situation, that pretty much the WWE paid out $10 million in compensation out of that, which should have been more, but they're stopping themselves from having to pay out all of that money.
Well, actually, apparently, in terms of the Owen James Hart situation, apparently it wasn't the WWE who actually paid out on that. But
I don't know. All I know,
it actually wasn't. It actually crops up. That issue actually cropped up because the settlement didn't actually happen. It was Martha Hart suing for I think it was wrongful death or negligence on the part of WWE. She was suing for
breaking up
for $10 million. So it was a case of that's what it was. That's what it was. And I think that $10 million lawsuit from Owen Hart's wife actually did get dismissed. It comes up in Kayfabe Commentary's timeline of 2000 with Rikishi, so it comes up as a fact.
Well,
but you were saying, it's a slightly cynical one, because at the end of the day, you're saying it's just for them to protect their investment rather than looking at the welfare of the player.
Well, if you look at it, it's you look at how much money is being put into the world of football, and there is no way that they can't do those checks in order just to have them just in order to sign a player. So it's happened with Loic Remy, and Brendan Rodgers pretty much was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not having a player with a heart condition. Whereas Jose Mourinho said, we'll do it. We've got enough players just to play around him, and if anything happens, Roman Abramovich will pay out, as he usually does with all the managers anyway. But in general, that they're looking at it as some people just don't want to pay the extra cash on it. They don't want to be paying out for somebody who is probably either going to go down and not get back up, unfortunately, or for somebody who's going to go down and not be able to play for a certain period of time and having to pay their wages on top of it. That's what they're sort of seeing it as. Am I going to be paying wages for a player who probably might not even return for the rest of the season? Some managers have to look. Managers and chairmen have to look at it that way. Am I going to be investing on a player that probably might only have 3-4 games and then be out for the rest of it because of a heart condition or because of an injury that he's picked up many months ago? Same thing with Falcao. The reason why that medical took so long is because his injury is still fresh from when he actually played. We couldn't play for Colombia. Colombia.
Took it too wide.
Yeah, for Colombia. So that was another reason why Manchester United took so long just to get that medical cleared. And it's the same thing with I think Silvestre had a problem when he came to Arsenal. The same thing happened to Kolo Touré when he had his malaria check done when he joined Liverpool, and along with a few other players.
The malaria thing was kind of a separate issue. The Falcao thing has been, well, in terms of his age,
it's not really a separate thing if it's all within the same thing. The angle that I was going with is the fact that the clubs are now starting to realise that if you're going to pay big for players, you're going to have to pay for their medical bills as well. So
of course, that's the way it should be. I mean, that's the way it should be. At the end of the day, if you're an employer, or if you're an employee going to a company, there are certain things you expect, like union representation, but a pension, a company pension. There are certain things and certain stipulations that employers have to adhere to. I don't know how the WWE have gotten away with it for so many years, which is it's an interesting kind of point. But if you want more details on that, Shane Douglas's Breaking Kayfabe with Kayfabe commentaries is very interesting, because they talk about the ins and outs of being a wrestler, and it's very strange that a lot of the stuff you expect by default from an employer, the WWE doesn't and never has and probably never will provide. It's an interesting one. But I said, I think you're right in terms of having to obviously having to protect your investments is a bit of a cynical way of looking at it, but at the same time, certain clubs do stuff benevolently. So it's one of them ones. But as I said, coming back, the Heart for More Foundation with Ravit Anand and Toby Alabi, fantastic initiative.